Hello, I'm Hal Ottaway with the Wichita Postcard Club, and it's time for another postcard of the week. This will be a Wichita postcard of the week, and I want to show you one from Spine's Clothing Store. They were located at 111 West Douglas. That's just west of Main Street and Main and Douglas. I started to say Broadway, but Main and Douglas, and it would be on the southwest west corner. Today, I think it's called the Century Plaza Building. I think. Um, I get confused, and I need to sometimes go downtown and take some pictures and make more notes. But Century Plaza Building is what it's called today, and it used to be Spine's Clothing Store. The Spines store started business in about 1911. So they were early and here for many years. Wichita used to have a number of wonderful clothing stores, and I think of Spines and I think of Henry's downtown. And then when the change came for leaving downtown and going to shopping centers around. We had the Boulevard Plaza, and we had Park Lane, and we had Twin Lakes, and all of those locations seemed to have, they're a smaller version of what had been downtown. And so it might have been Henry's at Town East, and so forth and so forth. But we miss uh, we miss the downtown, or some of the old timers like me do. It just seemed like it was a fancy time and going down. And I can remember going with my sister and mother, and those were the days when you kind of dressed up to go downtown, maybe wore kind of church clothes and new shoes that kind of hurt you a little bit as you were walking along. But it was exciting. There was a lot of involvement going on, people passing you on the sidewalks and parking at an angle along the streets. Uh, Not so many one-way streets back then, but lots of activity. And it's like all the shopping centers, but back downtown. You see what I mean? And so there was lots of energy and people just coming and going. And maybe you'd spot somebody, maybe you'd see somebody usually you didn't, but there were policemen and traffic going. And it was pretty neat, and especially as a little kid holding on to your mother's hand as you trudge along, going down through her shopping list of places that she wanted to go. Spine's store had clothing for men and women and children, boys and girls, so they had it every for all levels of what you might need, for every day or for play clothes, school clothes, and so forth. But it was just across the street south from the old First National Bank, which is today called Intrust Bank, I think. But that gives you an idea of where it was located. They had satellite stores later around town, and I've been trying to think of where one was. Maybe kind of down there close to Hillside and Douglas, maybe across from the Uptown Theater in that general area. It seems like there was a Spines. I could be all wet there, but anyway, it was a fun time. And this postcard was sent out at Christmas time, trying to get people to come in. It was a way of advertising back then. They could send the postcard for a penny, and so that's what they did. And you can see it's kind of colorful there on the picture. And Mrs. Mack was the one who sent this out to her customer, and it's addressed to Mrs. C.F. Drake, and she lived on Victor Place. And I think that was pretty close to Hillside and Douglas. And I had a friend that grew up on Victor Place, so I have kind of an idea where that was. But uh, it's old time Wichita, our time, and not the 1910 and that sort of thing. But this was postmarked in 1946 in December, and so it was the first year or the first Christmas really after World War II had closed in 1945. But that's it for this week, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week, and a Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you. Bye bye.